Cool. We'll wait a few for some people to check in. Comments up. Yeah, we'll talk about flipping Cavani as well. Apparently leaving.
Yeah, I'm seeing bare mixed stuff about that.
Oh yeah, there's some stuff.
Yeah, same.
But we'll talk about that as well. Cool. All right, let's start. Hello, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Make United Great Again. I'm joined by my lovely cast in Michael. How you doing?
What's going on, man? What's going on? I wasn't here last week, so it's good to be back.
Yeah, was that because of the vaccine? Yeah, did it come up with some new side effects?
Nah. Just had a busy time. I didn't even watch the game yesterday, so I'm just vibing here today, man. I'm gonna let you guys analyze everything.
Not today, mate. Not today. Stevie, how you doing?
Yeah, man, I'm good. Surprisingly, I thought I'd be coming on here taking another pumping this week, but dreams came true in it. So
Fair enough, bro.
Yeah, we're good, man. We're good.
Cool. And then we're joined by Dan. How you doing?
What's going on? Yeah, man, all good. Happy for once after a weekend of football.
Glad to have you back on. So before we get into the glorious win, obviously we got to plug, as always, the Discord. It would have been amazing this weekend. Shutting up all those rival fans on the Discord with our bows when Bruno scored and Shaw scored. So make sure to join up all the different channels on there, as I say all the time. And we've got our Patreon. We should be coming back with a top 10 piece soon. We've got some other pieces coming up as well, looking at some potential signings. So that'll be centre back, striker, and DM hopefully. And obviously we'll have a quarter of agenda soon coming from Rodney. Not sure when, but he's organising that, and loads of other stuff coming. So make sure to keep your ears peeled. Your eyes and ears peeled. Sorry. And then for the YouTube, this will be going up on Wednesday. So remember to keep that up. Let's get into it. Obviously, Michael has already done his get out of jail clause by saying not watching it, so I'm gonna have to come to Dan first. Dan.
Yeah, man.
Again.
We actually did it. I can't believe it.
It's getting boring now. I can't lie.
It's a bit mad. Like it's a bit. Mad. I had a FaceTime call with my dad before the game, and we were both sitting there talking about we'll just talk on Thursday. We're not going to bother talking after this game. There's no point. And then he phoned me when the game was done, and we both just looked at each other on the phone. We didn't even say nothing. Like, it was mad. I can't believe we won. I was shocked. We actually played well as well. That was the worst bit. We deserved the win.
Yeah. So just in terms of the performance, what was your opinions on the whole performance?
Like I said, I think we deserved it, man. Like from the jump, obviously the penalty in the first 30 seconds is a touch of luck, but generally we were positive with our play. We actually tried to keep the ball rather than just thumping it for someone to run onto. Defensively, we didn't really look troubled a lot. Like they had a few chances, but they're good. Like they're a great team. They're gonna make chances. Doesn't matter how good you are, they're gonna make chances. So that's not like a massive concern. But generally, we played really well. We created chances as well. Shaw probably should have scored twice. Rashford had a few where he should have hit it but didn't. Martial should have scored. That was the only thing missing from his game. But yeah, like we just deserved the win for once in a big game, which was it was pleasing to see. It was refreshing.
Stevie, there was a lot of talk before the game about Bruno, how he's been stinking out the big games, and he delivered it. He delivered with a goal in the first 90 seconds of the game. How do you think he done?
Yeah, man. That Bruno that Bruno interview, yeah, it was jokes because it was just Bruno like from top to bottom. Like that's his energy, and I love that he comes on that energy, and it's probably a part of what makes him so quote unquote effective, shall I say. But in the match, I mean, I was on the pod saying last week that he's our best player. In that match, I mean, he was pretty, he was pretty below average, wasn't he? I mean, we've come to expect this of him in the United shirt in the big games, but ultimately, the guy scored the penalty, and you have to put him away. Do you know what I mean? I saw a tweet on Twitter that was saying, "Why do we like chastise him so much for packing pens? Because people have lost World Cups on pens and so on and so forth." I know it's simpler to score a pen than an open play goal, but he did what he needed to do in it. He fluffed up his stats a bit more. Poor overall performance, but he got us in the lead, and that was the sort of basis that set us up for the game.
I mean, to be quite honest with you, if he hadn't scored that goal, a lot of more people would be talking about that performance.
Yeah,
But
we'd be on him.
yeah.
100%.
In terms of the first half,
Mm.
what did this to the open floor in terms of like our performance? Do you think we done well in the first half, or do you think we kind of conceded possession after a bright start?
Yeah, so I think we started well, and I like the way Ole set out. Like it was high sort of tempo, high energy. We were trying to press them from the off, and we went straight at them. The centre back pairing again, like with similar thing to what we did against Chelsea. They pushed further up the field than I've seen them play for the majority of the season, which allowed us to congest the area of space that City could actually play in. So they weren't able to manipulate the ball as well as they have in recent games in their whatever 20 win streak or whatever it is. I think obviously it massively helped us taking the lead because that meant we could play the game we wanted to. For the first 10 minutes, I thought we were the better side, and then City kind of settled into their rhythm, but without causing us massive amounts of pressure. And that kind of set the tone for the whole game. I think, given the personnel we have, it's probably as well as we could play. In possession, we know that the two midfielders playing in the center of the pitch aren't going to do much. So, with the amount of turnover we had, I was surprised not to see City take the game to us more, but I think that was probably testament to our defensive shape. So yeah, shout out Ollie on that. I think he set up the team well, and we did as well as we could in that first half.
Yeah, you mentioned those two in the middle. Special shout out to Fred, who seems to be getting worse every week.
Bro, I
But,
told you he's Benjamin Button. I said it about a month ago.
Worse.
I can't deal, man. He stresses me out.
He is closely becoming the most hated player at United for me. I can't stand him.
It's mad as well because when he does play well, he's actually so useful. It just doesn't happen anywhere near enough. And even when he plays well, there's so many things he can improve on. It's actually jarring.
The basic passes,
so
like
jarring.
against City, yeah. Like you only just do two things: just keep the ball and press him. And pressing he can do till his heart's content. But retaining the ball is so bad. Like he, alongside Aaron Wan-Bissaka, maybe even worse than Aaron Wan-Bissaka.
I think he's
probably
worse.
the worst. He's probably the worst passer of the ball in our team.
Because Wan-Bissaka doesn't try to do things he can't do. Fred's constantly trying to break lines and switch play, and he just hasn't got it. At least Wan-Bissaka keeps it to 4 or 5 yard passes. Like,
because Because if Wan-Bissaka tried to do the things that Fred does on his weaker foot, I don't even talk about it.
Yeah, I can't deal with Fred.
I just can't.
But
But
he does things like that pass for Rashford's goal against Sociedad, and people latch onto it that he can pass.
Yeah, that was a good first time ball, but he doesn't do it near enough. He doesn't
That
do
was
that
just
near
a
enough.
fluke.
I mean,
That was.
anyone. Yeah, if you give me the ball 1,000
Yeah.
times in a season, I'll latch on to one of those. So, yeah, he's not a passer. He's not a creator. He's in
literally
to do a
there for his
specific job
legs,
and
man.
he's barely doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's in for his legs, and that's it.
oh man. But so the first half came to a close, and yeah, we were in a pretty good position. City were mounting up the pressure a bit. Second half starts, and they come out quite quickly. They hit the post, and then I believe it's from that goal kick, where we get the second. Michael, I know you would have seen this part. What do you think of the second goal?
Luke Shaw driving at the defense. That's what you want. He's got the ability to dribble. He's a decent dribbler for left back, and he just ran at them. He travelled the distance of the pitch with the ball, passed it off to Rashford, got the ball back, and he took a shot. You know, sometimes we overcomplicate things, and we want an open goal before we shoot. But he took a shot, went bottom corner, off on your way. And Luke Shaw has been one of the most improved players this season, and it's good to see. It's good to see that, because for many a year, obviously before Tellers come and sort of give him pick up the arse, he was kind of coasting. And you're thinking, rah, like when he came to United, he was one of the best young talents. And then he kind of obviously broke his leg, and then he's been in and out the team. Obviously, Mourinho didn't have much faith in him. But now you see a guy, was he 24, 25, who's probably got the best part of 8, 9, 10 years ahead of him if he can keep up at Man United, if he keeps up at this level. So, yeah, good goal by him. And
9, 10 years is optimistic, man.
No, he's 25.
Yeah, we were saying 10 years when he signed.
Man wants it.
This is like medical advances.
This is the first season he's been able to get up and down the pitch, and you want him to do it for a decade.
No, but if he maintains this level, let him maintain this level, and then we'll see it. So
he will turn into a left centre back by 29 years old, mate.
You think he's going to do the Gary Neville thing? Just like
he's even done that well. So.
Yeah. Man.
Like Cesar Azpilicueta.
But
Shaw's played well, man. Shaw's been really good. Yeah.
He stepped up. He was one of the better players against that. I'm not talking about the Palace game, but one of the better players in the Palace game. So, yeah, no, salute to him, innit? Salute to him. He's stepping up when other players have gone missing. Because in recent weeks, the other players have gone missing. You know, you only got. It's sad that our left back has been one of our best players, because it's not too much of an influential position on the pitch. Where obviously Bruno's tiring out, or obviously his performances have been inconsistent. But when you lose the output from him, then it really sucks. Rashford obviously probably fatigued getting onto him. So when you stop Bruno and Rashford playing more time, you can do well against Man United, and them two have been off in the same period that our form has dipped. So Luke Shaw stepped up, but we need more influential players to step up as well, and that's been the issue, among other things as well.
You mentioned it before, but we are not going to speak about that Palace game because there is nothing to be said about that.
Yeah.
It was wasting 90 minutes for everyone, even the players. Like, I'm sure they're like, that was wasting time, wasn't it?
Mate,
games like that are the reason we are where we are, though, innit? Games like that, just fucking around and dicking around. And that's the thing I'm going to speak on. Maybe I'm jumping the gun, but whilst it's very impressive that we beat City away from home, they've been on a 21 unbeat or winning streak or something crazy like that, and to go there and win, very, very impressive. But to be fair, it's almost like the pressure was off us. If like there was no expectation for us to go there and do something. But the problem is, I question the mentality of the team, because when it was time to really go for the league, when it was time to really, these are big pressure games. We're no longer fourth and we're winning. We're actually top of the league, and people are looking at us to see what Man United are going to do. that's when we crumbled under the pressure. Liverpool, go for the game at Liverpool. Obviously, hindsight's always 2020, but I remember the pod after the Liverpool game, I was like, rah, we should have went for it. We should have went for it. But it was like, well, they are still the champions, yada, yada, yada. Now look, they've lost 6 home games in a row. The game against Arsenal, should have gone for it. Chelsea should have gone for it. Now the league title's gone. Now the team want to show up and show that they can win games. So it's the mentality of this team. I don't know if they're ready to win a league title. I don't know if they think they can win a league title. And I think that's the problem. Because clearly on our day, we can beat anyone. But to win a league title, you have to be on your day most days, which clearly we're not.
Yeah, I agree. 100%.
Very, very true. There was something that Neville, I think it was Martin Tyler. He mentioned in commentary where he said, replace Bruno with Lingard and replace De Gea with Henderson. It would have been the same team that beat City 2-1 about 60 months before. So has Oli just worked out Pep? As strange as that is to say, has he just worked? Because even the game at Old Trafford, I believe it was more City not allowing us the space in behind that made it such a shit game, rather than us not being amazing. Because I feel like if we still had that space in that game, we would have probably tried to play it the same.
I don't know if you could say he's worked him out, because even whenever we play at Old Trafford, we never beat them. Even this season, League Cup, they thumped us. Now, I know it was 2-0 and we didn't play badly, but they were never really in doubt of losing that game, like throughout it. So even other games, like last season at Old Trafford, they beat us, I think, in the League Cup. There's definitely games where we play them and they just look levels above us. So I don't know if you could say Ollie's worked him out, because it's not every game that we beat them, but there's something about Ollie and away games, man. There's something about him in away games with these managers, and it works. I don't know. I can't explain it. I don't think anyone can explain it. But he seems to be able to pump the team up to a point where they become unplayable against the top teams when they have space in behind. The problem now is... Yeah, the problem is with the next game, when we play West Ham next week or Milan on Thursday, we won't see it, and it will be back to what it was before, of we can't break teams down and slow, passive play, and everybody starts putting question marks above their head. Like, we haven't seen this for the last 2 years. So,
yeah, I think with Pep, like in the games that have really, really mattered, like City have dusted us. It's kind of the games that, like I wouldn't say this one was a dead rubber, but for all intents and purposes, City have already won the title. Do you know what I mean? This game meant more to us than it did for City. And away from home, obviously, we're less likely to have the lion's share of possession. And then obviously we're up against a team who wants to dominate the ball anyway, which I think one thing you can say about Oli is when teams do want to dominate the ball and we're allowed to counter-attack, that we're a pretty good counter-attacking team, is where we need to break teams down, and they're sitting with a deep block that we found like problems all over Ole's tenure at United. So I wouldn't say we've sussed out Pep until we beat him in a cup competition, for instance, or a match of like real magnitude. But it's definitely like a good platform to build on, because that is our first win against the top 6 this season, though.
It is.
Yeah, in the league,
in the league, yeah. But that's the thing. When Oli came, that was his bag, the big 6 games, because obviously he sets the team up to sort of counter-attack. So against the bigger teams, we were finding a way to counter-attack and win, keep it tight, keep it resolute. You can pump the players up, yada, yada, yada. But then for whatever reason, it's like this season has been a reversal of that. We've really stank against the big teams, but then against the lesser teams, so to speak, we've been a bit more competitive, bar the 6 weeks from the middle of January to the end of Feb, start of March. And I can't sit here and explain it. I guess it's the underdog mentality that he pumps into the players, that we're the second best team, but let's prove to them that we can, compete. But when it comes to being like, well, you're the top dog now, You're the top dog, Man United. You need to go out there and break your team down and win. It's like, whoa. Maybe they're not used to this sort of your top mentality, and that's why they crumble. You know, I don't clearly it's a whole mentality thing because now when we have to break teams down at home, there's no surprise to me that our away form is better and our home form is patchy because at home you're expected to come out and be the dominant team and you control possession. You're meant to break teams down, and how are you going to break teams down when you've got McTominay and Fred? They're not known. Whilst their benefits of running, you don't need to run as much when you've got the ball. You know, and
I think a lot of it is. I know, obviously, I'm not comparing him and Poch because there's levels, but a lot of the way people said that Poch needed a trophy with Spurs to like get them to the next point. I feel like Oli needed that win against City, but he needs that win against City to come in a game that means something. That big win where a game actually means something, and like either he gets a cup or it's first against second or something like that. He needs one of those results because right now we haven't had it. Like we have the odd cup game where we do it, but generally like FA, all the semi-final defeats can't be a massive coincidence. Like, I think it's 4 semi-final defeats since he's been here, or 5.
4.
4
semi-final defeats. Like that's to lose 4 semi-finals. To me, that's not to get to the semi-finals. Says your squad is good enough to win them, but then to drop every time at the same stage, that's a mentality thing, like you're saying. So maybe he just needs one of those wins to like tick a box to unlock something. But I ain't got the most hope for that to happen, just because I think he's limited. But he's doing, considering what we expect, what I expected from him, he's doing better than what I thought he would do. So credit where it's due. It's still not really good enough long term for me, but I can't hate him too much. I don't think he's that good. So I can't expect him to be challenging City and Pep and Klopp when I don't think he's good enough to do that anyway. So it's like a middle ground right now. It's a bit weird, but
Ed Woodward is happy with him too, isn't it? So you know you're in a similar camp.
He's definitely getting a new contract in the summer, which is just going to piss everyone off, innit? But
well, I guess 100%. On one hand, it's hard to argue. If you finish second, it's like wow, that's the joint highest finish since Mourinho in 17-18. So it's like pretty. Call it progress. I guess you can't. It's hard to not call it some sort of progress, but I guess not the progress we want to see.
This is it. Yeah, he is doing well. He isn't doing an awful job. He's just not doing the job that we want, considering where our expectations are as a club or as a fan base. Like we're all used to winning regularly, or at least at the very least competing, and we haven't done that for 7 years, 8 years now. Like really and truly, the fact that the closest we came was 18 points off in finishing second. Yeah. We haven't won a trophy now for 4 years. If we don't win anything this year, it's 4 full seasons without a cup. So it's not. While it's progress, it's not really.
No, of course. And second, and you're at second is disingenuous because, as you say, it's not second by competing or neck and neck. It was in the Fergie years where we may lose a league title, but we were competing until late April, May, not league title done in Feb. And we're just sort of bouncing along, trying to come top of the rest of the pack. That's what it is now. The league title's done. It's just trying to come top of the rest of the pack, and that was our fate in February, which is.
But then saying that, if you go back to pre-season expectations, if I had said to you we're going to finish second by 12 points, I don't think anybody would have believed me. We would have been expecting a third or fourth, maybe. With City and Liverpool pulling miles away again. So 12 last year it was like 34 points or something. 33 points last year. This year it's going to be probably about 10 to 15. Like if we're being realistic, he's halved it. That's still not good enough, but you have to look. If you're looking at it like that, it's hard.
I mean, in fairness, it's a really good Man City side. Like this Man City side in a lot of seasons would probably run away with a title at a canter. So I don't think there's any disgrace in finishing second to them if we do. It's probably just the manner of some of the defeats or some of the performances that I think United fans have a real gripe with. But I mean, I maintain that I don't think Ole is a superstar manager, but I still don't think he's had enough enough in the transfer kitty or enough to revamp this team to be able to say he needs to either be in or out. Like, we've had a non-existent right side of the pitch for God knows how long now. I mean, that needs to be addressed immediately. The defensive midfield position needs to be addressed immediately. So I think when he gets those two, then I think we can say, like, yo, you're either in or you're out. But I think
No,
now,
I think that's where especially when Poch was available, I think it was
Mm.
it was very easy to say just get him out and get Poch in, because there's a clear and obvious improvement there, and
yeah,
you've seen what Poch can do. Now Poch is gone. Anyone else really is either not a
gamble, innit?
guaranteed upgrade, or they're not someone that you want anyway. Like, Allegri's got the name, but I don't want him at Old Trafford. Like,
Yeah,
really and
exactly.
truly, if we were moaning about Jose, you can't then want Allegri.
Yeah.
So it's one of them ones. At this point, like you said, he's considering what he's had. I think he's done well, and based on expectation. Like, I didn't expect him to come second. I don't expect him to win competitions for us, but he keeps doing relatively well compared to what I expect. So I'm not like, get him out of the club ASAP, but I'm also not expecting him to like rip up any trees. I think he is what he is, isn't it? And I think a lot of our success depends on how the teams around us perform.
Yeah.
So like this year, Liverpool being rubbish has meant we look a lot better. But if Liverpool were at their normal level, we're not second. We're third by
Yeah.
a distance at best. So there's what's it, apples and pears or whatever they call it. But it's like there's positives and there's negatives in it. But right now he probably deserves another summer at least. Probably.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you can argue that he needs to go right now, because he hasn't been that bad. So
Yeah. I mean, this is the real reason why I'm here. The real reason why I came to host today.
Go on.
Because it's
It's
still
9
9
a.m.
a.m.
again. It's
Yeah.
9 a.m.
Still
again.
9 a.m. I
Somewhere.
didn't say it at the start of the pod because I wanted my own bit in the middle about 9 a.m. The alarm clock has finally gone off. It's been there for like 9 months, but we're here.
He was hibernating, boy.
Bro. Where the hell did that performance come from? Because 2 hours before the game, he wasn't even supposed to be fit.
Yeah.
So where the hell did he find that from? That's all.
Lord
That's
knows,
all I'm
boy.
gonna ask.
He's
know.
probably been listening to MUGA, because we've been on him. Like, he's been on his last legs for a minute. I thought he was done. I thought he was completely done. But that performance, yeah, I know he should have been packing away that chance, and Lord knows what's happened to his finishing, because that used to be the one thing we could rely on. But he did everything yesterday, like hold up
Except
play,
finish.
back to goal. Like, those are two of the best defenders in the league this season. He had them on toast. I think he completed 17 of his 17 passes as well, which in a team where you look around the pitch and probably our best player in terms of possession is probably like Luke Shaw. Martial was the only one I thought in that forward line who was actually getting the ball and then keeping it and using it effectively as well. So yeah, man, that was a true all-round number 9 performance, obviously without the goal, but I thought he was man of the match yesterday. So I mean, I want him to score goals in it, but I would give him much more slack if he performed like that week in, week out. That's a completely different version to what we've been seeing of him of late. Like, the guy who doesn't look interested. This guy, he must have bipolar.
No, it's true, right? Like, it's mad, because if you look at it on paper, Stones and Diaz are probably the worst 2 centre backs for his style. Like, they're aggressive. They'll rough him up. They'll kick him in the ankles. They're better than him in the air. They're stronger than him. They're probably as quick, because he's lost 5 yards of pace. Like, and he ripped them to shreds yesterday. Like, that bit where he turned on the halfway line and broke through 2 tackles like he was playing NFL and then just
30.
ran off. I was baffled. That was like, I thought Van Gaal was manager again. I was so confused. But he played really well, man. He did everything right yesterday except not score. That's the only thing that was missing was a goal.
It's actually insane thinking about the foots because before the game, I was expecting Greenwood to start because for as much as in the big games, I think Martial has started one game up front in the league, and that was the game he got sent off, I believe. So against Chelsea and Arsenal, he was suspended. Man City, he was on Man City at home, he was on the bench.
Did he not start against Arsenal when we lost?
No, he was suspended.
Oh yeah, of course.
He was suspended. Man City, he was on the bench. Liverpool, he played left wing. And then Arsenal, he came off the bench to play left wing, and against Chelsea, he was on the bench as well. So this was actually his first start up front since the start of the season in a big game. And I'm not sure if you remember last season the game we played, but against Man City at home. But it reminded me of that game because he was just as good in that game as well. But that was against Fernandinho and them, man. But it was actually just it reminded me of the big games where Drogba, like he wouldn't score, but his fingerprints were all over the game. It would just remind me of that, and that's not something that you really associate with Martial in terms of bullying the centre backs, pulling wide. And it was just weird because his movement was so much better as well. It was just weird because that just wasn't a performance that I was expecting at all. But it was amazing to see. And you're completely right about him in possession. Like that first half on the ball, we were so bad, and the decisions we were making were so horrible. I think it took Martial like dropping all the way deep one time just to pick up the ball and turn in space and pass it out for us to actually build an attack. But yeah, he was really good. And as you say with the finishing, I was saying it earlier, I think he has a problem with confidence and the fact that when he has to go across the keeper on his right side, he keeps trying to go near post where he needs to go far post. And I think that was a problem against Sevilla as well. He kept going near post and he kept hitting the keeper. So it's the same problem. But yeah, if he keeps performing like that, I mean, he has to score. He has to score goals. 4 goals in 22 games? 4 goals in. Yeah,
he missed a few suspension and that, but it's not enough, man. But you see that performance yesterday. That's what a lot of people have been claiming that Cavani has been doing in other games. Like when you see Cavani when he runs around a lot, but he doesn't really score, but people say he was essential. And I kind of sit there and I'm like, I don't think he did much. Like he won a few headers and he pressed, but his passing's rubbish, and like he's a goal scorer, isn't it? Like that's not what he's there for. He's there to put chances away in the box. That performance yesterday from Martial was what everybody seems to be saying Cavani does when he starts. And that's not a dig at Cavani. I think Cavani's been a decent signing, but he's not ripped up any trees. I don't think he's been amazing. But that performance, that was the best.
Pardon?
No, Dan, finish. Sorry.
Yeah, I think that performance yesterday was the best performance, number 9 performance that we've had from anyone all season in any game.
Yeah, definitely against the best defense in the league as well.
Yeah, and arguably the best defender in the league.
Yeah,
I don't think you can argue with that in the sense that we need more of that. And he's not going to hit that level every single week in, week out, but something around that level, man. Like that Martial there wins us probably 4 or 5 of the games that we haven't won this season.
No, most definitely.
That closes the gap massively. So
you can't have 2 players that you look to every game. You need about 3-4 on the pitch that when it's going, they can in on their own sort of stand up for themselves and take the game and win a game. You can't have 2 players on the pitch out of a team of 11 that are the match winners. You need 3-4 really. You need players that and Martial needs to step up.
It's true. If you look at City, you've got like 7. They got the 4 that start, 5 that start, and then they've got 3 or 4 that they can bring off the bench, depending on the game. All right.
And that's the problem. Exactly, and that's the problem. We don't have that option off the bench.
Yeah.
We start.
That's
the
almost
team
Liverpool's
and
problem right now.
Of
That's almost
course.
Liverpool's problem right now. They've only got Salah and Mane can't hit a barn. Was it a barn door of a banjo?
Yeah.
He can't do anything. He's
off
awful
form.
right now. He's been horrible this year. And even Salah's top scorer, but I think he's scored in less than half the games he's played in the league. So I think he's got 26 appearances, but he's only scored in 12 games or something. So like he's super duper patchy. So it's not a shock that Liverpool are struggling when they've only got 2 match winners and they're both rubbish right now.
Yeah, most definitely. And that's the thing, we don't have that alternative, and obviously that will come, and maybe that's probably why people were looking at people were talking about Sancho and stuff, having players of that ilk come in, because we definitely do need that option, but we definitely, as a start, need the players that are here to play better, and Martial's obviously one of those players.
Yeah. But so from Martial from the striker to the goalkeeper, I mean, Henderson didn't. It's strange to say that Henderson didn't have much to do again after the Palace game, but I mean, he was heavily involved in the second goal, which seems to be a theme whenever he plays. He seems to start a lot of attacks, but just in general, what do you think about the performance and just the general goalkeeping dilemma that we have?
Yeah, I think he's playing well enough for us. To your point, he hasn't had a huge amount to do, but because De Gea's level has dropped so drastically, I don't think it would make any sense for Oli to bring back De Gea as number 1 now. I feel like this has given him a kind of easy way out. And if Henderson's playing behind the sticks and he's kept 2 clean sheets now, just keep the boy in and see how he gets on. Like, he's deserved this chance. He hasn't really got it this season. This is a chance or an opportunity to see him for a decent run of fixtures. So we should do that. And if he doesn't, if that decision doesn't go badly and he plays well enough, then keep him as number 1. I can't honestly say I've seen enough from him to convince me that he should be United's long-term number 1 goalkeeper, but he also needs the chance to be proven that. So here's the chance.
Yeah, I think with him earlier in the season, when he was getting that odd game here and there, he was always trying too hard to impress. So he would go for those extra long throws or the long pass that was a bit harder, just to kind of prove a point that he's good enough. But now it's like he knows he's going to have a little run here, so he's just playing his natural game a bit, and he seems to make the defenders in front of him calmer. Like, there's no panicking from Maguire. There's no frantic, when the ball goes over someone's head, no one's running around like a headless chicken because he's going to come and collect it. Like, he seems to have that edge to his game over De Gea. Like Stevie said, I don't know if he's long-term number 1, because I think he does have flaws, but he's only 23.
23, yeah.
Yeah, so he's still young for a keeper, and he's not like he's had a lot of game time. Like, he's had a couple of years out on loan, but other than that, so I think he deserves a chance in the role, but I wouldn't hang my hat on him to be number 1 for the next 10 years. But he deserves his spot, and right now, like Steve said, if he's going to keep playing this way, there's no need to take him out. Leave him in there.
Do you think Solskjaer planned this? Because, I mean, I'm not sure if he could have, but I mean, De Gea having a baby in March, that means it would have been conceded last June. Do you think Solskjaer, being the evil mastermind that he is, he always planned just to keep the De Gea away for like 2 weeks?
I thought you were talking about planning the conception. I was gonna be like,
hey man, that takes man management to a whole other level, boy.
This guy's judge, it works too well for him, because how has he managed to get a situation where he's able to give Henderson a run of games just to be like, you know what, De Gea, Henderson's playing well. If he's playing well, you
Yeah.
can't come back in because
Like, I wouldn't be shocked if when like it got nearer to the time, he kind of put the idea in De Gea's head and was like, listen, if you want to take a couple of weeks off, don't worry about it. Like, we got Hendo.
Yeah.
And then he went to Hendo and said, listen, you're going to get a run in a few weeks, stay busy, kind of thing. I wouldn't put that past him because that's something Ferguson would have done. And he would love to be able to use that. But
Yeah, for real.
I think saying he planned it is a bit much, bro.
nah, he planned this.
Go take some paternity leave, you know.
Yeah, he heard the news
I don't know about that.
He heard the news in like September or something. They said, yeah.
Yeah, but he wouldn't have known that Spain was going to be red zoned by the government, bro.
Hey,
he didn't know there was going to be a quarantine.
Nah, this guy, nah.
I reckon he lets
Bro,
him
why-
stay with the Spain squad, though. They gets an
while
extra
he's-
week out of Hendo.
Yeah.
Get extra week
While
out
he's
of
out
Hendo.
there,
Like that.
while he's out there, De Gea should go shopping for some new clubs, man. $375 wage.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
he's
the
gonna
links
have to
with
pay them.
the links with PSG. I mean, do you think if Henderson does play well until the end of the season, do you think that's it for the De Gea?
I can't.
I don't
see-
think anyone takes him, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Navas must hate his guts, bro. Every time Navas goes somewhere, De Gea wants to turn up. Navas must hate him, but I can't see anybody, like all the top clubs right now have got a set number one. Maybe Juve, because Szczesny's a bit iffy, but they're not going to pay a goalkeeper 300 bags a week.
Szczesny's actually been pretty good for Juventus.
That's what I'm saying, but I would still say De Gea is better than Szczesny. Like,
Yeah, but then
they're not going to be crying for a goalkeeper, and they're going to probably take Donnarumma because they always take the Italy goalkeeper, don't they? And his contract's going to expire soon, so I can't imagine they'll put 300 grand on the table for De Gea, who's passed it for 4 years, because he's not going to.
You know what?
a
Yeah,
short contract.
if I'm Woodward, I might even cut my losses and pay like 30% of his wages to ship him off. You know, because
they're saying
that wage is so hefty.
The wage is nuts.
They're saying that we're gonna try and do a Sanchez where we loan him out.
Listen, shout Conte. Conte loves our Deadwood.
Yeah, I mean,
shout Conte, man.
They still have Handanovic. He's quite old now, but
they're broke. Didn't their owner just shut down his other club?
Yeah.
I swear they owe us a P.
And they owe us
a P,
Lukaku money. Yeah, never mind. They're broke. Never mind.
But
I just don't see where he could go. Really, realistically, everyone's gonna have the same problem that we have. Like, we don't want to pay him that money, but we're already tied in. So I can't see him going anywhere else. No one needs him. And no one's gonna. Anyone that does need him isn't paying that money.
Yeah.
So I can't see it.
That's the problem with United and contracts, man. You get these players on these fat bumper contracts. So even trying to get rid of them if you want to is mad difficult. Mad difficult.
I guess one option would be you keep him next season as number 2, because we're paying him regardless, isn't it? So you keep him as number 2, and you hope that by the time January comes around, he tries to force a move. But even then, you're paying him for an extra 6 months. We don't need to. But that's the only thing I can see happening is we keep him as number 2. Like, Oli just makes the call, because I don't think Oli's scared to make that call, which is a bit mad, because he likes the academy boys. He's into the whole academy, like the history stuff. So I don't think he'd have a problem playing Henderson. Oh, I think it would be worse if Henderson was a signing rather than an academy graduate. If we'd signed Henderson for 20 million from Sheffield United and he was outperforming De Gea, it would be harder for him to take the place. But because he's academy and rare, I don't think Oli will mind it too much.
It's an angle that makes sense. He could sell it as, the sort of Man United way, the traditional way and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's a call he needs to make, definitely. It's a call. Obviously, it's nice to give Henderson a run out, because we need to find out is he the real deal? Obviously, there's fears that he may not be the real deal, but give him a chance to prove that he isn't. Instead of just assuming or just saying it.
We gave him a 6-year contract, didn't it? We gave him a 6-year contract. So there has to be some kind of belief
contract. Yeah.
But there has to be some kind of belief there from Oli and the coach and stuff for 6 years. Because we could have just given
course.
him a 3-year deal. Like, didn't he
course.
sign a deal before he went on loan the first year?
Yeah,
Yeah, and then we gave him another new deal. So there's obviously some kind of belief there. We want him to stay. I can't imagine
Of
we then
course.
just let him go. So
They just
I
need
think,
to plan the handover process, and that's
that's
what
what it is.
I think they want to do some sort of handover process, but I don't know how. I don't know how they're going to do it in a way that keeps both of them happy, particularly because David De Gea in goalkeeping age, what, he's 30, 29, 30, so it's not old.
I think he's like 30, 31 in a year.
So
because he joined. This is going to be his 10th year when he joined, and he joined 19, I believe. So
Oh, right. I thought he was in his
Yeah.
30s already.
No, I thought 90s his year of birth.
So he
yeah,
turned 31 this year.
Yeah, he will turn 31 this year. So yeah, he was 19 when he joined. So he turned 31 this year. Yeah.
So there we go. And that's in keeper term. That's young. How old was Edwin? Edwin van der Sar wasn't even 31 when he joined, right? So he was even older than that, right?
Van der Sar was like 35 when he signed for us.
Yeah. So he's got time. So young in terms of goalkeeping age. He's young.
Yeah. I think the other thing that goes against him though is he's lost his Spain place because I don't think Luis Enrique likes him. So he's not playing Kepa. He's now playing Unai Simon.
Yeah.
So he's lost his Spain place. Yeah, I think he's even third choice for Spain. So I don't think the moving clubs to get in his country is even going to work. That he's already lost his place. So it's not like he's going to lose his Spain place if he doesn't play for us. He's already lost it. So that works against us as well.
But I mean, he could gain it back because I believe Unai Simon hasn't been great this season, and Kepa is the other choice. So that guy literally throws the ball in his net. So I mean,
yes, I think Enrique just doesn't like De Gea though, because he dropped him the first time around when he was first in charge. He dropped him for Kepa, and then the other manager came in after Enrique left and reinstated him, and then Enrique's come back and he's dropped him again. So I think Enrique just doesn't like him.
Yeah,
for whatever reason.
Fair enough. I mean, the reason must be because he's fucking shit now. But I mean, we move. But I think that's enough about the City game. Unfortunately, the Europa League, we are tied in with that. We got a bit of a glamour tie, a bit of Kane versus Undertaker in 2021. It's just two old men who were good about 20 years ago.
You know,
to just scrapping
What's
it
this,
out.
Ibra Cavani or?
Yeah, I mean they're both injured, which is
I was gonna say Ibra's out.
Actually hilarious. But, yeah, I mean we got that game coming up, which is
we'll beat them, man. We'll beat them.
Yeah,
Are you sure?
We'll go through.
I watch Serie A highlights, which Lord knows is more than most men should because Serie A is so boring. But every time I watch AC Milan, I'm just like, how are they winning these games? You lot, you're really not a good side, and there's no one in your team that I actually respect.
Wow,
genuinely,
wow.
There's no one in that 11 that I think, this player is actually a baller, and that's why Ibrahimovic could come to Milan at 56 and
he's
best player.
Ancient,
fam. It's mad, but that Serie A is, I don't even want to say it's washed because there's some good teams in Serie A, but I don't know how they're second, to be honest.
They bottled the league as well, weren't they? Like 10 points clear at one point.
Yeah,
second
half of the season.
They've bottled it, man. That they were doing really well. They're a bit like United. They were doing really well when everyone else was doing badly, and now Inter have sorted themselves out and they've fallen again. Yeah. So I think everyone's scared of the name more than the actual team. I don't think people are actually watching AC Milan this year. They're not that good. They're really not.
That's true. Yeah, if you got Ibrahimovic leading your line, I don't even watch them. But no, Stevie, every time you said Serie A, you kept on saying they're like Syria. I was thinking, what do you mean Syria's boring, man? They got a whole war going on there. Syria. I was like, what team in Syria are you talking about,
Nah,
Steve?
Syria.
Yeah, no, they're not. They're not good. I don't think they got that Dutch guy that everyone's saying that we should sign now. I don't know how to say his name. I'm not butchering it. I don't know how to say his name. Apparently, he scores bare goals from the right wing.
What
Salamakers?
Something. I don't know his name, but apparently he does really well for them, and we should sign him.
They're lying to you, man.
It's all over my timeline. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think
Salamakers
Belgian
is
or
Belgian,
Dutch.
isn't it?
Belgian or Dutch, something like that.
Yeah, he's Belgian. I mean, I'm looking at their team now, and on my life, I do not recognize like four of these man. Because who the hell is Krunic?
Yeah, he scored yesterday, I think.
Yeah, he scored yesterday.
Yeah, I only know that because I had a bet on them. I don't know. I just know that they
was
won.
a free kick.
I know they won 2-0, and it was two random guys that scored. Two guys. I know Dalot scored, didn't it?
And Mate. Who the hell was Mate?
Yeah, I don't know.
Bro, I'm telling you, their team is not good.
The only thing I'll say is I know Rafael Leao, the striker.
He's good.
He's very quick, and he's a good finisher, good link-up player. He's a lot like Martial, like a bit but younger. Like he reminds me of Martial, but I don't think like he's not a bigger threat than we faced this season. He's not like they're not some kind of super team, and they score a lot of penalties, man. They're a lot like us. That Kessie scores a lot of penalties. I think he's got like 10 goals a season, like 8 of them are penalties. So I don't think that's a completely made up number, but I know he scored a lot of penalties before someone gets onto me.
I mean, he does have 9 goals, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, like I know a lot of them are pens. He took Ibra off pens. I know that much.
That's actually crazy. But
he took Ibra off pens.
I'm not going to ask about how you think we're going to. I want to ask about what team do you think we're going to play? Considering that we're actually kind of stretched at the moment. There's no Pogba, Van der Beek, Cavani.
Rashford's going to be out now as well, isn't it?
Yeah, Rashford's looking like he's out. Cavani is looking like he's faking an injury until the end of the season, just so he can move. Yeah. I mean,
I think he'll go strong, man. He seems to like this competition. He seems to go strong a lot.
I think he knows that realistically, this is probably one that he can win. So yeah, I don't know if Van der Beek will get a game. I don't even know if he's fit again. Yeah, actually, to be fair, I can see him just going, just with his strongest team, and just.
I think it'll be a couple changes. Like I think Bailly will play, Tellez will probably play. Matic will probably play. Other than that, it'll probably be the strong. Greenwood will come in for Rashford, and then other than that, it's probably the same team. Like there'll be a couple changes.
How far is Pogba fitness? Like full fitness?
He's not going to be back until April.
What?
Yeah.
Fam, every time this guy gets a hamstring injury, he's out for like 6 months. What is this?
I swear he started training again last week. Didn't you say he just started training again?
Yeah, but I think Ollie said that he's not going to be back until before the international break.
You're having a laugh, man.
I thought he said he wasn't going to be back till March, and then last week he said he was training. I ain't heard nothing of raw. This guy's
injury record is shaky,
horrible.
you know.
His recovery
record is shaky.
I will get up the quotes now about international break, because unless I read it wrong.
I didn't hear nothing about it. I heard the last I read about it was he's not going to be fit till March. And then obviously this game was our first game in March or second game in March. And he said he's back training, but he's got to get fitness back.
Okay, so he said he hopes he will be back before the international break.
Okay.
But that's
that means, so he's not coming back before the international break.
So that's in 2 weeks. And then the international break takes us until April. So, yeah. So
how many of our players are actually going to go on this international break? Because isn't there the red zone? He said he's going to block Bruno. I don't even know who else he can block. I don't know the red zones and that.
Wow. You reckon just Bruno up?
He should just lock all of them in.
Yeah. He should just anyone that can go that he can block. He should block. But I think Luke Shaw will get called up. Maguire's going to get called up. They're going to call up Rashford even if he can't run.
Yeah.
That's 3 that he can't lock up. But I don't know who else he can. But I know Portugal got 2 away games. I know we got to go to Serbia.
They don't even need him, to be honest. They're probably better off without him.
He's shit for us, so he can stay in Manchester. I don't care. He's rubbish for Portugal, man. He's not.
Why
he can't
is
do
that?
hero ball because Ronaldo's on the pitch.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He can't make everything run through him because Ronaldo is the top dog. So he has to just play second fiddle. Like I think he's only scored once for Portugal in like 20 games. He doesn't play well for his country. He doesn't play well for us.
Yeah, he must be a shadow of himself because he loves being the main man. So the fact that he goes there and you got a living legend, you just got to humble yourself and as you say.
He knows he's just biding. He's biding his time, innit? He knows Ronaldo's.
Ronaldo's a machine. He's a machine, though. Who was he? 36 now, still going.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Santos has already said that once Ronaldo goes, they're going to use Felix the same way. Everything's going to go through Felix. So I don't know, man.
Heritage.
Bruno right wing. It's happening.
Yeah, I don't mind if he can stay in Manchester. I don't mind. We'll be fine.
But after Milan, we got the West Ham game, which is actually, it's weird to say in March, but I mean,
top 4.
Yeah, I mean they're playing Leeds right now. It's just started 5 minutes ago, but if they win that, they will be. I think they'll be like 4 points behind us. So that's a 6-pointer.
Yeah.
It's got a draw written all over it, innit?
I think if we look at the gap to West Ham now, I think is like 8 points. But they're obviously, I think they're about to play now, innit? So
yeah, they're playing now.
I feel like unless we have a major collapse, top 4 should be sewn up. But I think we should be aiming for second, which I think is going to be techie because Leicester only 1 point behind us, and they seem to have even like ridden the injuries they're getting, and obviously Chelsea are a couple points behind them. So
I think if Chelsea are more likely to finish second than Leicester at this point because Leicester are falling off a cliff, man.
Do you think? But they won yesterday, though.
They were lucky.
They were
lucky to win the other day.
They were lucky, but you need
that. Maddison looks like he might be out for a while now because they're talking about specialists and when he can touch the grass again.
Mad.
And Vardy's only scored once in 14 games.
Yeah, it's mad.
So he's missing.
Barnes is out.
Yeah, Barnes is out for like 6 to 8 weeks or something, and he was their second top scorer. So they're really relying on Tielemans, who's a bit funny.
Things come up good for them recently here, Nacho. Don't know how long he'll keep that going.
Yeah, I think the way, and then they had Fofana's just come back from injury, right?
Yeah, that was his.
They got a lot of defensive problems. So
they sound like that.
I wouldn't be surprised to see them fall off. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see them fall off.
Yeah,
I mean Chelsea are now 11 unbeaten. They won tonight. So.
Yeah,
Tuchel's got them purring.
Yeah, man. That new manager bounce.
So, do you think that's it for top 4 then? Those 4, and then it's going to be where do you think United are going to end up? Because we have a pretty hard end of the season.
I still think we come second.
We still got to play Leeds, Liverpool, Spurs. We have Leicester as well.
How many of them away?
Most of them.
We got Spurs away. We've got Liverpool at home, Leicester at home. The
thing is, away is probably better for us, isn't it?
Exactly.
West Ham are losing. Oh no, they're not. It's offside. Never mind.
Yeah, so we got West Ham at home, Liverpool at home, Spurs away, Leicester at home, and then our other games seem to be against the relegation teams as well, which is a bit iffy.
But so I don't mind as long as, like, I'm not gonna lie, I don't mind us finishing third as long as we get automatic qualification.
I mean, if you finish in the top 4, you get automatic qualification no matter what.
I swear.
Yeah, there's no qualifier anymore. No, that's what changed.
Okay.
Yeah, that changed like 4 years ago, Stevie.
Bro, where have I been? That's a mad thing.
That really changed.
That is hilarious.
I think we'll get second just because at some point Chelsea will blip, and then it's about how they react to their blip. But I think at some point, I think we'll come second, even if it's only just. I still think we'll get second. I think Chelsea will get third. Leicester should get fourth, but West Ham don't seem to go away, man. So I wouldn't be.
Yeah,
I would not be surprised to see
that
Moyes
would
get
be some
Champions
story.
League with West Ham. That would be
No,
the
that would be-
funniest plot twist of ever.
Yeah, I think
ahead
looking
of
at
Tottenham, ahead
City's
of-
lineup as well. Sorry, not City, bloody
City's running.
Chelsea. Chelsea's running. They've got like their last 4 games are City, Arsenal, Leicester, and Villa. So I don't think
Jeez.
it's any.
It's
Yeah, I don't
tough.
think it's any easier than ours. Yeah,
That's the point. Where are Villa in the league now? Because they've still got like 2 games in hand, right?
They
yeah,
are
They have
ninth.
the ninth
They're
and
ninth.
40 points. So they can make a late surge, but they'll have to go on a mad run. So probably Champions
And
League.
they-
is a bit out of the question.
They need Grealish back ASAP.
yeah.
To have any chance. To have
Yeah.
any chance.
I thought Liverpool would still grab it, but they're just no.
Nah,
Yeah,
it's
they're
they're
done,
not showing.
man. Nah, you
They're not
can't. You
showing
can't.
any signs now.
They have to
so-
win it.
They're-
They have to win it now, innit?
Yeah, I
They're
think so.
7 points off the
I
top
wouldn't be
4.
shocked. I wouldn't be shocked to see them go out. Was it? They're not. They're Wednesday, innit?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked to see them go out. At this
Mm.
point.
Anyway, let's get on to some listeners' questions. Where do we start? Since we spoke about West Ham recently, I will start with a Lingard question. If you're Lingard, are you staying or coming from BK_O Omo?
Cut.
Yeah, go to
Yeah,
West
I'd
Ham,
cut.
man.
He's got cut.
They're treating him like the main player there, like one of the main guys. He's playing in his number 10 role. He's actually enjoying his football, he's scoring goals, setting up goals. Yeah, don't
That's
come
his-
to
that's
United
his-
and play second.
That's his
fiddle.
level, man. That's his level.
Yeah, facts.
There's no expectation on him to get goals and assists there. They'll come as they come, and they'll take them as they come. Like,
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah, exactly.
Leave him to stay there. Good luck to him.
Yeah, good
Yeah,
fan
man.
base as well. They'll take to him, man.
He'll do better for us at them because he'll take points off our rivals. With the way West Ham set up. The way West Ham set up, he'll take points off our rivals and do a job for us without playing for us.
And more importantly, he can enjoy the London nightlife as well.
Lifestyle, yeah,
Yeah, man.
You know he's gonna love that.
He can put his logo on Big Ben or something.
This is from Boy UM9895. Does it really count as bottling the title race if your aim was top 4 and you just randomly happen to be first place after a good run of form for 5 or 6 games? Because everyone cannot compare us to Liverpool 09, 2014,
We didn't.
Spurs, Arsenal.
I don't know if we bottled it, but we
Yeah.
should be doing better than we are.
Yeah, March has only
We-
just begun in it, so it's hard
I
to
think
say we
people
were in a title race.
I also think it's people forget that even though we were top, City always had a game in hand on us.
Mm.
They
So
had
there was,
2.
so we were only ever like 1 point clear at most. So I don't know if we
Yeah.
bottled a title race, but we shouldn't be 14 points behind or 11 points behind or whatever we are. So I wouldn't say we bottled a title race.
Just to play devil's advocate on this point, would anyone have expected City to have gone on the run they did if they had a run of, let's say, a normal good team? Do you think that our form would have been viewed better? Because I believe if City just had, if they, for example, they out of there, I believe they won 10 in a row. Let's say they won 6, drew 3, and lost 1. Do you think we would be viewed better than we are now?
I think
Probably because the
problem
gap would be
with
smaller, isn't it?
yeah, but I think the
It's all about
problem
the
with
gap.
us is like that could have happened to City, but also a part of me still feels like we'd still be significantly behind them in terms of points, just because when it's crunch time, we just crumble. Like that's a real big issue that we have to sort out. When the pressure is on us, we seem to buckle, we seem to crumble and fall. So yeah, I'm not sure if City had less points, the pressure would still be on us. I'm not sure we would have been able to get through that, to be honest.
I think
yeah.
even our own form, I think before yesterday it was like 4 wins in 11 or 2 wins in 8.
Yes, it's poor.
So our form wasn't good, man. Like even if City had won 6 and drawn 3, they'd still be ahead of us. So I think obviously no one expects them to win 21 in a row. But saying that, whenever you see City versus someone, you always just expect City to win. So
Yeah.
Obviously, no one expects them to win 21 in a row because it doesn't happen in football. But realistically, with the team they have, they should probably win 21 in a row more often. Like they're favourites in every game they're in. So I'm not surprised they went on a run like that. They've done it in the last 4 years, no? They've done a stupid run like this. Didn't they win 19 in a row last year and 18 in a row the year before to win the title against Liverpool? Like they do this every year. They do on a crazy winning run. So it doesn't really shock me.
Fair enough. So what are you saying? Do you feel like we bottled it? Because a lot of people were saying 21 at the turn of the year. Thank you, Timmy, for the term.
That's
Definitely.
Don't say
Definitely.
people. That was Tim.
Tim was smoking the loud pack, man.
Yeah, he was in a
Because
one-man.
you got on board, so you can't put that.
I went on board. He was like, Stardog is killing my people.
No,
He built that train. He wasn't even the driver. He built the whole train.
He was the builder, conductor, everything. But
yeah, he was.
we did bottle it though, man. We did, man. We had a great chance. We were top of the league. You're going away to the champions, a wounded champion, and we have 2 great chances. We don't take them, and it's down there from here, downhill from there. So definitely, I think we bottled it, and I think it was just made it very clear that we're not ready. We probably haven't got good enough players, but definitely with the mentality, mentally the players aren't ready to win the league title, and that's probably what we knew before the start of the season. But to see us get in a position where get ourselves in a great position to compete and then bottle it is quite disappointing. Very, very disappointing, in fact.
All right. This one's from 88 Jones _. Do you think Ollie is playing a dangerous game by playing players with injuries, or do you think he has to because of the squad he has at his disposal? So just to give some context to this, we spoke about Martial earlier having a late fitness test. Sure, if you didn't know, had a late fitness test for that game as well. Lindelof has been playing with a shoulder, with a back injury for months now, and Rashford has been playing with a tear in his shoulder since the 1st of November. And they are saying he will need to have it operated on post Euros.
Yeah.
Do you think he's playing? Do you think he's playing a dangerous game, or is it because of the shit squad he has?
I think he'd be playing an even more dangerous game if you took those players out and you played you'd played the players on the substitutes bench instead. I think it's the makeup of our squad, innit? We don't have the same quality and depth that Man City have, for instance. So we can't really take 1 or 2 players out of the side, because when we do, we're even worse than our current predicament, innit? But I also think sometimes a lot is made of United playing players under injury. I can't remember who said it, but it might have been Rio or something. He said players are rarely ever fully fit across the whole season. You're normally playing with or nursing some sort of injury, and you're just fighting through the pain barrier. So I mean, I don't know if that should be half the team, but I wouldn't expect all 11 of our players to be tip top in every single week. So I don't think it's a problem. It doesn't seem to be a problem with the side. When we can deal with those injuries, we will.
My thing with it is, I get why he does it for a lot of the games, but there's a lot of games where he doesn't need to. The 0-0, the second leg against Sociedad, there was no reason for Bruno or Rashford to be on the pitch at any point. We were 4-0 up. We had options on the bench that could have played instead. There was no need, and to give both of them 45 minutes was just doing it for the sake of doing it. I think he played Rashford just because it was the anniversary of his debut. There was no other reason to play him in that.
Yeah,
there was no reason, and you're just asking. We did it last year against Wolves in the FA Cup. He brought Rashford on randomly, and he done his back and was supposed to be out for the rest of the season. And we caught life because of the COVID thing that he came back. But he did it with Pogba as well. He rushed Pogba back. Pogba redid his injury. He played him for 120 minutes in the cup, and then played him for 90 minutes against Arsenal while injured. and then he was out for months with an ankle injury. Like,
And then he
Yeah,
done
you
the
know
same.
what? You've convinced me. I revised my point.
I feel like
Yeah.
he does it a lot of the time where he doesn't need to. Like
Yeah.
against City,
Bro.
100% put Shaw on a fitness test, and if he passes, play him because he's been that good. Marshall, we had no other striker. Fair enough. Put him on a fitness test and play him. I get it. Rashford, obviously, you want your best players in those games. But there's a lot of games where you just think now's the perfect time to just take one out, play another, rest them. Like he tried it in the West Ham game when he tried to rest Bruno and Rashford, and then he brought them on at half time when we were losing and we came back to win. And now it feels like he doesn't know that we can play without them anymore. So he has to have them on in every game. Even Maguire, I felt like I posted something on Twitter last week that he's now him and Bailly. Maguire's played 96 times for Man United, and Bailly's played 99, and Bailly's been there for 3.5 years longer. 3 years longer.
That's crazy.
Like
Yeah, true.
Maguire
I know
signed
what you mean.
last summer, and he's played 96 times for us already. That's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
well, that's trying to get your value at 80 million, isn't it?
He plays every single
He just
That's
he
minute.
plays,
it.
yeah. And I think
Every
I think it was Elijah that retweeted something onto my timeline this week about like 3 of the top 5 outfield players for minutes play for us.
I think
Wan-Bissaka,
Bruno.
Rashford, and
even
Bruno. Innit?
four.
Bruno.
Yeah, it's mad. It's like
Yeah,
our squad isn't that weak for us to be in that position. Like we're not Burnley, where we've got 11 players.
I mean, even with Wan-Bissaka, he generally plays every single game.
Yeah,
He
every
doesn't.
minute.
He
But then
doesn't play.
who's the second right back? Who is off?
I mean,
Who-
but
that's
at
the-
that point, you've learned out Dallo. You've learned out Laird. You have Williams there.
You didn't loan. You refused to loan out Williams,
Exactly.
and you don't use him.
So
Weird.
if
clearly he doesn't have faith in the squad, innit? Clearly he has his 11 or maybe 13 players that he uses, and that's it. That's really it. Doesn't trust anyone else.
Even like I know people are going to say like I don't think Van der Beek has been good. Yeah, he hasn't. He's done nothing in his performances so far that have merited him getting more minutes or more starts. So I get that, but I don't think he's a 10 for a start. But there's games where since Pogba's been injured, where Pogba would start in central midfield because we're gonna have 70% of the ball. Like logic just says you play Van der Beek there because he's not. I'm not saying he's as good or has the same skill set, but he's got a similar mentality of attacking midfield play. So logic says you play him, but we don't. We play Matic, and then we complain that we couldn't create chances because Pogba's injured. And it's a bit like you're kind of digging your own grave with that. So the squad isn't deep to rotate players at will like City do, but it's also not weak enough to not rotate at all. So it's in the middle of that. I think.
You're speaking facts. I think he doesn't. Clearly, there is a squad. Probably the squad players aren't as good as the starters. That's the fact. So we can't just, as you say, chop and change like Manchester City. But not many teams in the country have that. Probably City and Chelsea are the only 2 teams where they can probably swap players for their bench players and literally have the same amount of quality. But even so, he really doesn't trust his squad, and that's something. If you want to get closer to challenge the title, he needs to address it. That's if you want. If he thinks a title is realistic. I don't know if he thinks that. I really don't know if Ollie generally thinks that.
And just to go on from that point, I remember versus Liverpool when he was interim manager, where he brought on Lingard ahead of Sanchez, even though he got injured the game before.
Yeah, and then he got injured as well.
So he still had to bring on Sanchez anyway. Then there's the Pogba, Rashford. There just seems to be a cycle where he doesn't care if you're injured. If he likes you, you're playing.
And then he doesn't make subs. Like he just even when a game is won, he won't make subs. Like I feel like he gets a bonus for not making all 3 subs. Weird.
I think it just shows how little he trusts the players on the bench.
But then when you're 2 years into the job, is that not a worry?
Yeah, that's a problem.
It's not like he's just come into the job and like if that's an excuse for Tuchel because he's had half a window. Like, I could understand if Tuchel was doing that, but Solskjaer's 2.5 years into the job now. He's cleared a lot of players out of the squad. He hasn't brought in as many as he wants, probably, but he's still cleared out a lot. So the ones he's kept around, you'd assume he has some kind of belief in. Like, I don't know.
So we got a question here from Kayode on the YouTube comments. We've had them for 2 years now. Can you say we've improved since that PSG game?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, the numbers don't lie. To be
We've
honest,
improved.
playing style is it's hard to
It's
say.
worse.
I mean,
It's worse.
yeah,
Our playing style is worse than before that PSG game because we were actually playing well and putting teams away.
yeah, but I think overall we're a better side. It's like if you take that game in isolation, then you can say, "Oh, I haven't really seen performances better than that."
That game was
Since then,
awful,
but
though.
even that game, we got pumped, didn't we? And then we just
Yeah,
got three chances and
we
won.
were so lucky to go
Um,
through in that game.
Yeah, so I think overall, like if you look at us as a side, generally we are a better side, and like you look at the table, like we've actually improved year on year. So I think yes, have we improved to the point where we'd all be content as United fans? Obviously, no. But yeah, like I was saying at the start, I still think he needs a window where you can get in players in positions where there are glaring gaps.
Yeah, he needs that Jose window. The one where Jose got Zlatan,
Yeah.
Pogba, Bailly, and Mickey. If he gets a window like that where we just get him all of his targets, then you could probably judge him better. But his job as manager is to get the most out of the squad he's got. And I wouldn't personally say he's getting the absolute most out of this squad. So there's an argument for and against it. But I would definitely say we've improved since that. Like even just looking at the PSG games this season in comparison to that, we're much better now than we were then. Like that was just a moment's game. We were so lucky. Like number one, Buffon was in goal. The guy was way past it even then. Like the guy was past it.
So we got even that Kimpembe handball, which to me is a shaky one.
Lukaku scored twice in a big game. Like, that's enough. And Lukaku's my guy, but that says it all. Really, it's just one of those games. What do you mean not on this pod, man? Lukaku's my guy, but I'm very accepting of the fact he should have left. I have no problem saying that. But he's my guy, but he's a very, very good striker.
Yeah, not on this pod. Not on this pod. Just another question here from David Ade. I thought was quite funny. Who was better? Who was better yesterday, Bruno or KDB?
Bro, the numbers don't lie.
Hello? Only one of them got on the score sheet.
Yeah, but tell him Bruno.
I think that's the worst game I've seen KDB have. You know.
Yeah.
That guy.
He hasn't been great since he's come back from fitness.
It's not a coincidence that City lose when Foden's out of the team and KDB's in it. Just saying.
Agenda must run.
And I want to point out for all the penalty chat, De Bruyne missed the one against Liverpool. So.
And if you scored that, they would have won. But
they would have. It would have been a big difference. So, for all the penalty lovers out there, you know, Penandes and that, De Bruyne's got some catching up to do still.
And the last one, there'll be one more after Sing Z1. What do you make of Ollie's use of young players? Is he as generous as the narrative suggests?
No,
I think he is.
I think it's a myth.
I think
McTominay is one of those Lingard ones where he's classed as young, but he's 24. He's not young. He doesn't play Williams. We've already established that. He doesn't really play. Yeah, but he's the youth in the squad, isn't it? He doesn't really play Tuanzebe. Greenwood is the only one really that you can say. He didn't play Gomez last year when the team was crying out for an attacking midfielder instead of Pereira.
Jesus, what horrible! That's like first half of the season.
Yeah, like who else is there? What other youngsters are there?
I mean, he's not playing. Right. He's not playing Diallo now.
He's not playing Ahmad. He's not playing Shoretire.
I just think he's managing them as well as he could. Like, I don't think Fergie would have played these young players anymore. I think the ones who are ready to play, he plays.
No, I
innit?
agree. I agree with that, but I think the narrative is that he's some kind of messiah for youth, and he's not. I don't think he plays.
I don't know a manager that would play any more young players than
Van
Van
Gaal.
Gaal. Van Gaal.
Oh yeah, and
That
to
guy
his
gave
detriment.
Donald Love
Yeah,
a Man United first team
to his
appearance.
detriment, man. Paddy McNair getting
Man
games
said-
for United.
He said Paddy McNair was going to be our right back for 10 years. I will never forgive him. I will never forgive him.
McNair and Blackett, you know.
He
Nah,
gave Donald
he's a-
Love a senior appearance. Who the fuck is Donald Love?
Donald Love against Sunderland.
Oh shit!
Was
Oh
it
yeah.
Southampton? I swear it was Southampton or Sunderland. Or
No, it was
Southampton.
Sunderland. The 12th of
Yeah,
the 13th of Feb.
ridiculous.
Don't ask why I remember the date.
Man
The
said the
13th.
date.
Like,
That just an
dates.
encyclopedia, bruv. What is that?
you think I forgot? Donald Love. No way.
That's the
Nah,
mad thing.
that-
He's currently playing his stuff, writing his stuff at Shrewsbury Town.
You see what I mean?
Jeez.
He made Varela go to the gulag because he got schooled by Coutinho. He's taking the piss.
Without Varela, we don't have Rashford. I'll tell you that now. His first 4 goals, Varela.
Listen, I was at that Liverpool game where the Europa League one, yeah. And when Coutinho schooled Varela, I turned to my friend and I said that he's never going to play for us again, and he never did. He got subbed in that game and he never played for us again, and he got sold that summer. I'll never forget. That's my claim to fame right there. I knew that was coming from the jump. That's ridiculous.
And
That's
then
ridiculous.
the last question on the screen: who's on your transfer wish list for centre back, midfield, right wing, and striker?
Are we being
I'm
realistic?
not even going to answer this one, because I've said it so many times. I've said Haaland and Sancho so many times, and I've said I don't know who's actually a good centre back at this point. Like, I think there's bare people that flatter to deceive, and CDM, I'm not too clued up on who fits the profile, to be honest.
If we're going off like reports right now, I would say centre back. I'm taking Varane every day. CDM, I like Douglas Luiz a lot, man. I think he's flipping cold. And then right wing and strikers, obviously Sancho and Haaland, but there's no way we get even 2 of them. Never mind all 4.
Yeah, facts.
We'll get 1 at best,
Yeah.
and then some 3rd or 4th choice.
We'll get
for the
1.
others.
1 and Cavani re-signing.
If that, like, even he's meant to be getting Boca now.
Yeah,
So,
there's been conflicting reports about that. There were 2 reports saying that it's definitely happening this summer. Then there became a rebuttal from another source that said he's closer to re-signing with United.
I saw something just before we came on that he's apparently talking directly to Riquelme. Like, that's where it's coming from. So
that was from the newspaper Ole, which is kind of ironic. But yeah.
But they aren't they the ones that broke him coming to us? So I'm not sure. I wouldn't be shocked if it was true. But yeah, I think the likelihood is we'll get Sancho or a top right winger, and then we'll go and we'll be dumb and we'll sign a stopgap. Like, we'll go and sign Danny Ings for 30 million or some shit. And everyone will be really happy that we've got a striker. And when he doesn't bang, everyone will be confused. And yeah, that's what will happen. That's what I see. And then Haaland will go City, and we'll all have to live with that for the next 10 years.
He's going Madrid, man. He's going Madrid.
He's not getting
what?
Madrid.
Madrid can't do that.
Madrid can't afford anyone.
They can either take
that's where
Mbappe or...
Spain are. All the Spanish clubs
Madrid
are done at it. Like, they're all the panoramic finished them.
There's no way Zidane takes Haaland over Mbappe. There's no way.
Yeah.
No, I don't think Mbappe leaves this summer.
Then he's only got a year left on his deal.
A year left.
Yeah, I know, but I don't think he leaves this summer because I think it will be too expensive. But I think with Haaland, I believe the problem is that next summer he's going to be so cheap that the whole world will be able to.
I think someone's going to take a punt and pay more than the clause this year. I think.
Yeah.
Well,
they're going to try it. They're going to try at least. Yeah.
That's the thing.
But Dortmund are stubborn, man. Dortmund are stubborn.
The thing is, we need a right winger. We need a right winger more than we need a striker, but I feel like we need Haaland more than we need Sancho.
I wouldn't if we
that
got
makes any sense.
if we signed Sancho in the summer, I would rather we played Greenwood up front than re-sign Cavani. Personally,
What? No, Marshall.
he can do what he's doing this year and just fan about. I don't really care.
Yeah.
But I feel like Greenwood's not gonna become a striker playing on the right wing, and he's obviously a striker. Like he's obviously a striker, and we're talking about Haaland being this demon, which he obviously is. But the massive difference between him and Greenwood is playtime, man. Like Haaland's played every game in the last 2 years. He doesn't miss games unless he's injured. Greenwood's in and out of the side, playing out of position, and last year he still got 18 goals.
You make a fair point.
So I personally, if Ollie turned around and said, "We're not signing a striker, we've got Greenwood," I wouldn't hate him. I wouldn't hold that against him at all. Personally.
Yeah, no, there are more pressing positions where we're starving.
The issue is just his price, isn't it? He's so cheap. It's kind of like you can't not go for him, considering his talent. But yeah, I'm not mad. As long as he doesn't go elsewhere this summer for a decent, like obviously if somebody pays 9 figures for him, then fair play, innit? Like it is what it is. But if he goes for in and around an actual like a reasonable fee and we're not involved, then that's a problem, realistically. Yeah. But I'm hopeful that they'll be stubborn like they were last year because they're going to sell Sancho this year. I don't think they sell both. If they sell both, they're mad. But then I'm thinking out loud, but they're not even close to Champions League, are they? They're like 7th.
I know they got smacked up on the weekend.
They got beat up by Bayern, but
they got slapped up.
They're in the league, sorry?
They're 6th.
How far off? It's only is it top 4?
They're only about it's only about 4 points off top 4.
Yeah.
So maybe they'll get top. Maybe they'll get Champions League, but if they miss it, then maybe they will sell both. But
yeah,
I think if they sell one, they won't sell the other, and they're more likely to sell Sancho because of his contract. So I think
fair enough. Yeah, there's no more questions, and I believe we've come to the end. This should have been a more celebratory pod, but the fact that we're still 11 points behind City means that at the end of the day, that meant absolutely fucking nothing.
That's the moral of it, man. They're always celebratory when there's nothing behind it.
Yeah, it's just
that's why it's annoying.
Meant fucking nothing. So thanks for drawing against Everton, West Brom, and Palace, and losing to Sheffield United.
Yeah, they do.
Thank you.
They're not serious. They're not serious.
I swear it's 6 draws. It's 6 draws since we went top of the league, no?
Yes.
Yes. That's ridiculous.
Mentality lacking. That's it.
There's nothing worse than drawing when you should win. Like, especially the Everton one was the Everton one hurt me, man.
Let's not get into it.
Yeah. We beat City, man. Let's be happy. Flipping hell.
I don't want to vomit.
We beat City, and we deserve to beat City. Let's be happy for once.
No. So we've got to the end of the pod. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to use the hashtag tomorrow. Get involved in the conversation. The visual will be out on Wednesday for all you visual watchers. And yeah, gonna end it there. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.